Well, finally, as promised, I'm back with another episode of the Country Road Legends podcast. I want to thank everyone for all the kind words and support I've gotten over the last few weeks, and I want to apologize that it's taken this long to really get another one going. I'm hoping and praying that things now are back to where they should be, and this kind of thing won't happen again. That being said, let's just move on to the good stuff, and the good stuff is the interview for tonight is with a gentleman. His name is Fred Saluga. Fred Saluga is a UFO and cryptids kind of investigator. He's been doing this since the 1970s. He's investigated hundreds of UFO cases in Florida, Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. He's presently the State Director of MUFON in West Virginia and the state of Pennsylvania as well. He's developed and taught UFO, cryptozoology, and conspiracy classes at the Eastern Gateway Community College and other colleges in the area. He has also given presentations on the above subjects in numerous libraries in these states as well as events. Fred, it was a pleasure to talk to. He is very old school in the way he handles things. He's up front. He tells you how it is and what he's thinking, and he just rolls with it. Fred's 70 years old, and is just an amazing individual. One of the nicest people I've talked to in a long time. He is involved with some of the past guests of Jamie King and Brian Seach. He investigates alongside with them many times, and has a fairly good presence on Facebook and a couple groups and such for these, which we'll discuss later in the interview. Let's get up to Fred's interview. I hope you all enjoy listening to the interview as much as I did talking to Fred.
Okay, first of all, my name is Fred Saluga. A little bit about my history. I'm an ex-police chief from Pennsylvania. I worked at a federal correctional institution and a state correctional institution. I was child abuse investigator for 15 years. And I do DUI classes and DUI assessments right now. My interest is in UFOs and Bigfoot. I've been involved in this area since the 1970s. I am the State Director for MUFON in West Virginia and Assistant State Director in Pennsylvania. Also, I run a group called the Fayette County Bigfoot Research Project out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. And I got a group called West Virginia Center for Unexplained Events. Our group in Uniontown, Fayette County Bigfoot Research Project, we recently had 2 free events that we feel. Well, we do free events. We feel that a lot of people don't have money and their kids can't afford to go to one of these things, so we'll have an event. We had one at Patsy Hillman State Park last year, and we got over 500 and some people attended that. And then we just had one recently at a place called Morrell Fire Department near Connersville, Pennsylvania, and they had 750 people come in and out that day. I think that we should have more free stuff like that so that people that, like I say, their kids can go and see this stuff. And I'm kind of busy with a bunch of other stuff, but like I say, I do a lot of UFOs and Bigfoot investigations. And I'm also into conspiracies quite heavy.
Yeah, well, that's why Jamie said we would match quite well, because that's pretty much about where I lay on everything and stuff. And I love the fact that you guys do all those free events. I noticed that it seems like everything was free because, yeah, I mean, some people you look at it and they're like, well, it was only $10 or $15 to get it in. Well, for some people, that's
a lot of money.
That's still a lot of money, especially if you've got multiple kids or you're a single dad or mom. And so I love the idea behind that because it gets that. Go ahead. I
look at it, there are 3 different types of researchers, okay? And my group is a no-kill group, first of all. And the first group would be people that really want to find out what this Bigfoot and this paranormal phenomena stuff is, like UFOs, Bigfoot, dog, man, whole 9 yards. The money that I put into this in the last 40 years, I could be down in Bermuda right now. But I'm not in it to make money. The second group is the money makers. They want to make money, they want to do this and that, everything's money to them. And the third group is the egotistical people. I mean, they think they're experts, and they go in this, they're in it for a year, and they think they're experts in this and that. our group, we have a bunch of people that never really got involved in this stuff. Now they're really involved. And like I said, we thought about what we wanted to do. We went to the park and we asked them. We said, well, at first they didn't want to do it. And then they says, okay. And like I said, it turned out pretty good. Now we got a bunch of people that are charging pissed off at us, excuse my language.
No, you're fine.
And I mean, but again, I'm not in it. I'm in it to find out what's going on. We talk to people and they talk to us, and that's the whole thing. I mean,
right.
That's how you do research,
Yeah, well, even the best science researchers, the scientific ones, but none of them got rich when they were doing the research. It was after they found out, they were poor, broken, eating ramen noodles most of their life. So, but
but if you look at it, you hear somebody say like Bigfoot, I'm an expert. There ain't no experts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there was an expert in there, then we wouldn't be looking for it. I mean, but again, this is how they make their money.
Yeah.
I'm an expert. I'm a keynote speaker. They charge $50, $60 to speak somewhere, and it's ridiculous.
Yep, I absolutely agree. I told Brian when I talked with him, Brian Seach, he said that we were talking the same situation. I said I'm always more inclined to believe the guy who's sitting there in overalls and a torn up T-shirt than I am the guy that's sitting there in a 3-piece suit saying that he's the expert and he's the one that everybody comes to. And that's really, I'm more inclined to go towards the other guy because I have a feeling he's probably going to give me a more upfront kind of discussion and more open discussion. Don't worry about that. I got one where the dog's attacking me and everything.
But like I say, I've done UFO investigations in Florida. That's where I really got started at. I was into UFOs when I was here back. I got married and I left Pennsylvania in '85 and moved to Florida. But before that, I was into UFOs and Bigfoot and all of that. And then, like I say, that's when I was a cop. That's how I became involved in it. And how I got involved in all this is really, I never believed in none of it. I mean, I always said anybody said they seen a ghost or they seen a Bigfoot or whatever, they were crazy as hell and take them to mental institutions.
Right.
But one night, me and my partner got a call of a burglary in progress. It was snowing out real bad, and it was 10:30 at night, and we both had something to do later on that night, and he was kind of upset about it, and we went to the house, and I know the lady that was there, old Italian lady. I mean, she wasn't really playing with a full deck. And we looked around. There was no footprints around there. No, you could tell nobody had been there because there was no footprints in the snow.
Right.
So you knocked on her door, and she said, "The so and so, they up the stairs. Go get them now." So we just looked at each other. We go upstairs. There's nothing up there. So we came back down, and I'm talking to her, and we heard noise upstairs. We could hear everything upstairs. I mean, it was like somebody was up there partying. And we went up and come back down. I said, "Can you tell me what's going on?" She said that they got you whatever ghost to get them out of my house now. And I started laughing, and he said, "You're not going to put that in a report, are you?" I said, "Yeah." Well, that started it. Couple weeks later, I get a call from another department to come investigate a Bigfoot call. So started out as a big joke, and here it is like 40 years later, and I'm still doing it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I was always extremely interested from the time I was a tiny, from I could first read and see TV, In Search Of was kind of still on when I was a kid. And so that kind of got me into it. And then there was Unsolved Mysteries and all of that. So I was always into it, but it always, it was just, again, you always saw everything was like, well, we thought we saw this. But when I had my very odd, but kind of also funny encounter, just like everybody else, once you see something, you got to see it. And the funny thing is, too, it always seems like once you see one thing, you already believed it, but once you see it, then it's like you start seeing more,
right.
It opens your...
I think, but I think there's a lot of problems with this whole field, I mean, the Bigfoot field, because, I've been in this for 40 years, say 50 years, okay, since I was about 20. I'm 70 now. And then you take Brian, he's been in it for like 30 or 40 years. You take Paul Johnson, 30 or 40 years. Stan Gordon. None of us has ever seen a Bigfoot,
right?
Which is odd. We're looking at almost 200 years of experience here. How can people see a Bigfoot every other day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they can't, but I find that, you know, some people, I don't know. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, some people like Native Americans, all right, for some unknown reason, they actually have more sightings of Bigfoot than we do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a Polish Dago. I mean, you know, and I mean, I know a girl, like, she's seen Bigfoot twice. I mean, you can tell she's seen it because of the way she talks. But like I say, a lot of people, they see Bigfoot. Do they really see Bigfoot? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you know, 1, 2, 3 in your lifetime is a possible... Yeah, but I totally agree. When you hear the stories, it's like, oh, I've seen it 27 times in the last month.
Yeah.
You know, I live with it. Or, I mean, not saying that these people don't see something, aren't interacting in some way with something, you know, but it is odd. You know, like I said, my encounter was very happenstance, by chance. And what I've noticed is, like, you know, not that I see it more than, you know, I've seen like footprint things or something like that occasionally, you know, maybe twice other time in my life so far. But I noticed it kind of opens your eyes to be, you know, understand that there are really strange things out in the world. So you kind of seem to look for other things. You know, you're looking at the sky more, you're paying attention to what's happening around you more things. But yeah, I totally agree. You know, I don't want to downplay anybody, you know, and making them say I didn't see it because I wasn't there. You know how I know about that. But at the same time, well, it is hard to have, you know, like the experts. Yeah. I see them 27 times a week.
Yeah.
You know?
I normally tell people, I believe that you believe you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're looking at it from an evidence standpoint, there is none.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, I'm not calling you a liar. I believe that you believe you've seen it. Okay. But as far as me, you know, going with it, I can't because I have no other evidence, you know?
Yep.
And people get kind of ticked about it, but I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, I exactly how I tell my wife. You know, I told her, you know, this is the kind of thing that I saw. I can't prove that to you. You know, maybe I was just a crazy kid who was just freaking out at that time because we were playing a game and I didn't want to get caught in this game, and I imagined it. I can't say I did or didn't. You know, I can say the branch that it broke in front of me, I seen break, but but I can't prove anything. I can't take you.
Well, it's like, you know, you go out in the woods, all right, and a lot of times if you're at a distance and you're looking, you might see a head, what appears to be a head standing behind a tree looking at you. And, you know, but then you get there and there's no head. So did you really see something or what? I mean, and see, I think that's the whole thing with this whole field. I mean, again, I don't know if they told you I'm into the paranormal Bigfoot myself. I mean, I believe he's interdimensional.
Same here.
And,
Same here. I believe it's,
and I mean,
it's not dimensional, it's a poltergeist type thing. You know, that's just how I am.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not a flesh and blood animal. I mean, I go along with it. I'm not saying it isn't, because we don't know what it is. But I lean towards the other theory, whereas Bigfoot can be there and a minute later he's gone. You don't see him.
Absolutely.
And I think this is what a lot of these things, like the tree thing, I mean, I think they're there, and as you're walking up, they can actually... Can they vanish, or can they just fit in somewhere? Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, we got a lot to learn about this stuff yet. I mean, like I said, I've been investigating Bigfoot for like 30, 40 years now. And every time I turn around, it's something new. I mean, you know, I talked to a lady here about a year ago, school teacher, a retired school teacher. And I had on a T-shirt that said, Bigfoot is interdimensional. How's it Creature Weekend? And she says, well, I really want to talk to you. I said, well, why? She said, I seen a Bigfoot like 30 years ago. I said, really? She said, yeah. She says, it came in my house. And I'm looking at her, you know, she says it just came in, it just appeared. And it said, I want to learn what humans do, telepathy. Mm-hmm. And she says it was there 2 or 3 times and it left. I mean, is she lying? I don't know. But I mean, is she telling? I believe that she believes Bigfoot was there. I mean, the way she was talking, you could actually tell the cracking in her voice and that. And another thing, like I say, being an ex-cop, I mean, I've interviewed I don't know how many thousands of people.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, you can tell, you can tell when somebody's lying by the way their voice is and the way they act. I mean, you know, and she wasn't lying. I mean, this woman had she was telling the truth. I mean, so, again, what is it? I mean, we don't know. We have no idea what it is. UFOs, I think the government knows what they are. And I think Bigfoot, the government knows what they are, but they ain't telling us, you know?
Yeah. You know, you hate to get into that part of it sometimes because people always like roll their eyes at you, but it would be odd to me to think that, number one, like you said with the UFOs, we wouldn't have something just for the case of national security in general.
Right.
And then with the Bigfoot, that's even if it's flesh and blood, to think that they wouldn't know about something that, if it's as intelligent as some people say it is. I mean, honestly, if it's truly that thing could rule the world. You know, it wouldn't take very many of them to just take out half of a country in a second or two. You know, so you know, and you know, it's crazy you said that. That story you gave me goosebumps because I just listened to one, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the title of the show at that time, it was with Timothy Renner's Strange Familiars. Called Astral Bigfoot, and the guy that was being interviewed had the same thing. He said he actually seen it like walk through the walls, through the house, through the walls, and go. Right. And you know, this dude was hyper excited, you know, telling, and then he got a little, you know, you start hearing it come down when he's like seeing it, and you can hear the fear coming, and he gets all excited again, describing it, and so yeah, I never thought I would hear another story like that again, let alone that it happened 30 years ago. So but yeah, I agree. It you know, flesh and blood. Yes, everything in the animal kingdom adapts one way or another to its environment. You know, obviously they've been seen for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in that thousands of years, you know, either one, we've had bodies, they've been found and taken, or let's say, you know, when they are here, I do believe when they're here, there's something solid, there's something physical, because they're leaving things, they're leaving things. But like you said, they can step into something we can't, and they're gone.
I think they're here, like you say. I think they're actually animal-like when they're here. But I think, again, you've had many people, like I talk to a lot of guys, they say, well, I killed a Bigfoot, and killed it. Where in the hell are they at? Where's the bodies at?
Yeah, well,
you know, and then now
it ends with, well, we left. Well, why did you leave it?
Well, yeah, but now the big thing is there's government agents that come take it. All the Bigfoots are chipped.
Yes.
Really? I mean, come on.
I've heard that one.
But again, I mean, you know, you look at it, and I don't know. I mean, like you say, they've been here thousands of years. I've talked to people down here in Pennsylvania. We got a place called Dunbar. I mean, I think that Dunbar, they have more sightings than anywhere in the world. But anyway, they said back in the day they used to feed them. I mean, Bigfoot and them was like, you know, their kids would play with a Bigfoot. I mean, and you know, you look at it and say like, wow. I mean, what happened? Why don't they do that now? I mean, and you hear stories of that from back in West Virginia, the mountains of West Virginia. The same thing. I mean, Bigfoot was family to them. I mean, but all of a sudden, it's no longer. I mean, why not?
The stories have changed. I mean, like you said, because if you read up on it, especially with me reading like a lot of the Appalachian stuff, you get deep in the Appalachian Mountains, and you have stories of these families. They're just like, you know, hey, mom and dad just said, okay, well, when you hear this, just stay out of the woods for a little bit, and then wait until it stops, and then you can go on out. They'll be fine. They ain't going to bother you, you know. And you hear the stories now, it's like, I pulled a gun on it, and it knew what it was, and it got mad. Well, back then, it's like, we just fired a gun in the air and let them, and they were like, oh, that's your place, we'll leave you alone. You know, but now it's like, they seem to be there are more aggressive encounters. It seems
I think that's because the people are more aggressive, though.
Well, yeah, that's where I was going. I think the difference is, the one thing I say is we lost touch with the land, with our culture, with everything around us. And if it's outside of our bubble, we want it dead, plain and simple. And, you know,
who's to say Bigfoot isn't a shapeshifter and he's actually us?
Well, yeah.
I mean, he can actually be one of us.
Yeah, you can't say anything. I mean, you can't say anything you come up with could be true, is honestly the way it is with Bigfoot. So,
you can't. I mean, people don't...
Go ahead.
People don't understand that. I mean, Bigfoot's an animal that'll hurt you. 9 out of 10 times... I've never really heard of Bigfoot killing anybody. I mean, I think if you piss something off, no matter what you make mad, it's going to come at you.
Right.
But most of my they had the one case down here at Ohio, at Salt Fork. I don't know if it was on TV, Mysteries and Monsters, whatever. And about the family went hiking down there, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and 3 kids. One kid was 9, one kid was 7, another kid was 5. And they went down over the hill, and this little girl was a 5-year-old. And the 2 older kids, they seen the Bigfoot there, and they took off running. You know, oh my God, it's a monster! You know, they're yelling and screaming. They get up to the top of the hill, and it was like 3 or 4 minutes before everybody realized the little girl was still down there with the monster. So they go running down there. The little girl sitting there, and she says, "Well, I asked it to play with me, but it left."
Yeah.
I mean, again, you hear stories like this with kids that, you know, kids ain't gonna lie. I mean, a little kid like that, it's gonna tell you what happened. I mean, you know.
It's
but
like
but
that
again,
kid here recently, the one they found, you know, the bears kept me.
Yeah, that was gone 3 days. I mean, you know,
that's a little
in the snow.
weird. It was 18 degrees. He was in nothing but like regular clothes and a light jacket, and it was snowing. And it's like, okay, when was the last time you seen a bear sit down with a kid and hug around it and put it in some thicket and keep it warm? You know, it's like,
well, he'd have been a good dinner for the whole brood.
Well, that too. And I'm secondly, looking at it as a nurse for 20 years, thinking, yeah, he would have had some hypothermia issues.
So, well, but most of the bears are what's called hibernating at this time too. Yeah. I mean, so how would a bear really be out there? I mean, you look at a lot of again, you take what's his name, 411 missing.
Oh shoot, yeah, missing 411 guy.
Yeah, Dave Pilates.
Yes.
You know, again, Dave and I had a discussion one time about Bigfoot actually taking these kids. Yeah. And you know, I talked to a guy, and my thing here is, I think Bigfoot's involved in a lot of this. But again, if you talk to people, like down in Puerto Rico, they got that mountain down there where everybody vanishes and all that. They'll tell you that actually aliens, I mean, they're here too. I mean, you know, they can actually stop time as we know it. So you got a little kid walking around a berry bush, they stop time, they can take him through a portal and then, you know, start time back up again. It seems to you like 2 seconds, but it isn't. It's actually, say, 2 minutes. You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Can they do that? I mean, there's too many people ending up, you know, like, kid went out back in the day, you know, back in the early days, he went out to get some water. He went down to the well down there and never came back, but they could hear him talking. I mean, actually talked to him, but he ain't there. I mean, how is this? He went to another dimension. I mean, you know, you talk to people that they go in somewhere and they're, you know, it's like, where the hell am I at? I mean, you know, it's 1800. And then all of a sudden they come back again. I mean, I think we can slip in, and I think they can slip into our dimension.
Yeah, and honestly, with things like, you know, we got, which I know a lot of people roll back to this, but there's so much power there, like with CERN doing what it's doing. You know, right now they're shut down, they're not running, they're getting ready to start back up, but they're getting ready to start back up even using, I think they're doubling the amount of power they're going to use of magnet. I mean, that's a magnetic force that's pulling everywhere, and everything around us is vibration and magnets, basically. So, you know, man, it's crazy. Jamie was right. He was like, you two are going to get along well with this stuff. Yeah. So,
but you look at it too, like, okay, we're fracking everywhere.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Is that actually, okay, are we actually disturbing another dimension? You know what I'm saying? We're seeing more and more stuff today than we ever seen. Mm-hmm. For some reason.
Right. Well, you take the frequencies from cell phones, the cell phone towers. Yeah. You got, you know, these new technologies of imaging that they're using, you know, around the world and shooting in space. Right. And, you know, you just throw just that amount of frequency in the air. I mean, they've already proven that the new 5G stuff, when people are within a certain amount of range, they sweat more. Right. Their body temperature runs higher. They have headaches. They have behavior issues. You know, not getting into the conspiracy behind what they're doing with it, but there is science proving that this is how it just affects the human body. So how's it affecting the world around us, you know? And,
right. So. Well, but see, again, the people that run the world don't care. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, they're not worried about it. It's us peons down here that have to look at all this stuff. I mean, You know, and like I say, a lot of people, like I say, they don't understand this whole thing. I mean, you know, it's like I was just on Facebook, and you get all the, Snoop said this didn't happen. How in the hell? I mean, who's Snoop? They work for the damn CIA anyhow. So I mean, what do they know?
Let me tell you. Do you know how Snopes came about? Right?
No.
Okay,
I
Snopes
really don't
was
know.
started by a guy and his wife.
Yeah, I know that.
During that time, this is just, again, I could be wrong. If someone wants to correct me, absolutely. But I've read this in multiple places. And if you look up the people who are the main people in it, you'll see that this is what it looks like. So during the time they were starting it up, or a little bit before it, he cheated on his wife with a prostitute. Oh man, that's the three people that started and run Snopes, and yet people use that place as a 100% an indisputable source. And the only time, if you watch Snopes and you pay attention to it, I hate Snopes. I just absolutely hate it. Anything that says fact checker, you're biased, plain and simple. But if you really watch Snopes, the one that everyone uses except for a few places, if it goes along with how they believe, then it'll be fine. And you can see that. You can just go along and look at their stuff. If it goes to something that there's questionable, I guess what I'm trying to say here, conspiracy behind it, which again always ends up being true 90% of the time, or if it's something that may be a little sensitive at the time, they'll be like, oh no, this is fake. Well, how's it fake? Well, he actually said it, and what he meant was this. Well, how did you know what someone meant when they said it? So yeah, I have a huge issue with them. So
yeah, it's like right now you got this Cortez, this goofy ass woman from New York, Congress lady. And somebody put on there, about, what's his name? The guy that's running for president down in Texas. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. But anyhow, he was saying
politics,
he was saying that wounded servicemen and people over 60 are like old pools and should be discarded. So, Cortez, she probably said the same damn thing. I mean, because she's one of these ones, the young people listen to that. So I put that down. It said that she said people over 80. So I put it down. I get three people come on and says, well, she never said that. How can you prove this? No, I'm not in to prove it. Stay the hell off my site. I mean, you don't like what I say, don't come on.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, I got that thing I put on there the other day. You don't have to like me. I'm not a Facebook post.
Yeah.
So, I try to like everybody, and I give, my, to kind of quickly bypass through this, but one of the things I always put on political posts is so much hate involved with it. And I tell people, you're missing so much of the world because you're spending so much time worshiping people that don't like you, worshiping people that have never done anything for you, worshiping people who do nothing, but as soon as you start leaning towards acting like humans to each other again, they throw something else out there in the mix to get you arguing. It's like if we took the time and the energy it takes to hate each other like everybody is over it, and just started bringing back family, neighborhoods, being kind to your fellow man, we would have all the power of the world. Our country would be back to where it used to be, but no one's going to do that because I get attacked. I get attacked. I get horrible messages sent to me. I get blocked on, which I don't care about that. But it's insane. But that's I'm going to waver off into that about being nice to each other, and people are going to hate me. So. But go ahead. I got one thing I do. I do one or two good deeds a day. Even if it's open up the door for somebody, and they'll look at me and I say, well, that's my good deed for the day. And then what? I said, just think if all of us did one good deed a day. Just think, well, how this world would be. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. People look at my kids all the time real funny because, my twins are 8, my little one's 4, and they'll open doors for a woman. They'll open doors or hold them for elderly couples. And they're just like, oh my gosh, they look at you like that's a surprise. And that's sad. That really is sad. But we're going to get on a topic that's going to get me going down a horrible hole here. But one of the things I know we had discussed on the phone the other day, there was a UFO case that we were talking about. I can never remember the name of this one until someone says it. That you said you were getting ready to start investigating, or that you started investigating on again.
Kecksburg.
Yes. It's the one, there's that one, and then one about the gentleman that was found.
That's Tallseas.
Yeah. That's the one.
Well, to me, they're both hoaxes. Right. To me, they're both hoaxes.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to get your thing on that, because I like the way you were looking at it and stuff when we were talking before.
Well, let's talk about Kecksburg. Okay, Kecksburg Kecksburg did happen. Something landed there. There's no doubt about it. This was back in '65.
Now you say, is it Kecksburg?
Kecksburg, 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 Pennsylvania. It was December 9th, 1965. And something landed there. I mean, and you know, again, what was it? I mean, for 40 years or 30 years, nothing was ever said about it. Then all of a sudden, Monsters and Mysteries wanted to do a show on it. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, it became a UFO. You know, then they said, "Oh my God, they seen the hands coming out." It's all bullshit. You know, this was a man-made thing by certain people to make money, and that's all it was. And you know, one guy says, his name's Owen Eckler. He says that it was actually one of our satellites that came down there. That's why they acted so fast, because it had radiation in it. It was a spy satellite, and we couldn't say nothing due to the fact that we had an agreement with Russia. Then other people say it was the Russian satellite that they were sending to Venus that came down and crashed.
Right.
And that's why
it came from the Cosmos 96 or something.
Yeah. Okay. But again, two people come out and say, "Oh my God, it was shaped like a acorn." I mean, really? Who interviewed these people? But one person. One person is the guy that interviewed them all. And I mean, you know, and now I found out that actually on December the 9th, 1965, that something was, one of our spy satellites was actually shot up from Vandenberg. This is what Owen is saying that happened. It came down there. Mm-hmm. But, you know, again, you know, they took it to court, okay? You know, it became the Roswell of Pennsylvania, you know, and you know, oh my God, yes, and they knew damn right well they wasn't going to get nothing off. They went with the Freedom of Information Act. They knew damn well they were going to get nothing off of NASA. NASA ain't going to give you nothing. But it was, well, we were going, you know, we want congressional hearings. You don't want nothing like that. That's all talk.
Yep.
You know?
It's a bunch of heads.
But I will find out what it was sooner or later. I mean, you know, and the Todd Seas case is even better than that. Okay?
Yeah. Well, on the Kecksburg event, real quick, just kind of throw out there for people who's probably never, ever heard of it. Like he said, on December 9th of 1965 in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, there was a fireball reported by citizens of 6 U.S. states and Canada. It went over Detroit, Michigan, Windsor, Canada. Everything was said from it was a meteor bolide burning up in the atmosphere, descending at a steep angle. As you said, NASA, which means never a straight answer, released a statement in 2005 reporting that experts had examined the fragments from the area, determined that they were from a Russian satellite, but records of the finding were lost in the 90s, of course.
Right.
As you said, they went to court for all the Freedom of Act, and it ended up coming to be a lot of people lean more toward the Soviet space probe Cosmos 96. So.
But see, the person that does all this believed that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got newspaper clippings where he said that it was a Cosmos plane, the Cosmos thing. Then all of a sudden, when the show went on, right after that, oh my God, it's actually a UFO.
Right.
You know, we can look now. Okay, oh my God, you know, this is something we should do here. I mean, again,
the town or the area, but I remember seeing it on Unsolved Mysteries as a kid.
Yeah, it's Kecksburg. It's in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania. It's about 40 miles from Pittsburgh. It's about 50 miles from where I live at. But and the bolide that they seen, that probably wasn't even what crashed there.
Oh, well, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they seen this stuff coming through the air, but it really wasn't what actually crashed there. I mean, but again, you know, like I say, it's been all screwed up over, you know, in the beginning it was like, yeah, that's what it was. And another thing you got to look at, no UFO organization ever got involved in that, except MUFON, and that was Stan Gordon when he was the state director for MUFON from Pennsylvania back when he actually started this stuff. No other UFO organization got involved in it. Don't you find that odd?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, when it happened, that was actually the big UFO times. You know, you had the flying saucer kind of fad that everybody was in love with. So yeah, it does seem weird that no one went up there. They just kind of was like, oh, NASA said it, we're done. Let's just go over here.
Yeah. And when they had the thing on television, 50 people from the town sent a petition to the TV show not to show it because it was a lie. I mean, why would they do that? Right. The guy who was the fire chief from 1965, he said it was a lie. But they got it running now. You tell somebody it never was a UFO, and they look at you like you're crazy. I mean, it was a UFO. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So and so said so.
Yeah.
So and so got more shit than a Christmas turkey, and you couldn't find a bleeding elephant in 6 foot of snow. But so and so knows.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, and like we've been saying about everything, if you don't have hard evidence, you can't say this is what it is anyway. Even to the point of the Roswell crash. Yeah, I mean, they had pieces supposedly that he took home and let his family see. They said it did this. They said, do I believe they had something? Absolutely. Can we prove it? No.
No,
we can't.
It's like with Kecksburg. If you read it, it will say about this guy went down to Wright-Patterson. He brought these bricks down there to they built a radiation shield around it. And he snuck in to hangar 14 or 13, whatever. Yeah, he snuck in and he looked and he seen an arm hanging out. Yeah. But he says they was trying to get into it. This is what's cool. They were trying to cut into it and couldn't get into it. Mm-hmm. But he seen the arm on a gurney. Well, where'd the arm come from? If they couldn't get into the damn thing, where'd that come from?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to ask you that.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
really.
I've been to Wright-Patterson.
And then,
I only live like 2 hours from it. I've been there many times. You don't sneak into those places up there.
No, hell no, you don't sneak in. They put a bullet in you.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, again, they say, okay, everything you read, they said they brought the, whatever it was, underneath the tarp, up the hill, and they took off at a fast rate of speed. They had cars behind them, cars in front of them, Then a guy up on top of the hill who was a radio guy says he's seen it. He described it exactly like it was supposed to be described. Mm-hmm. Well, excuse me, it came up the hill and it was covered, how did he see it? Or is this something else we just put in to make it look good? There's a lot of stuff there when you look at it. You look at it from a law enforcement perspective. When you looking at evidence, it ain't there. I mean,
Yeah. No,
never take it to court.
I agree. Like I said, people saw something. It was out of the ordinary. It was weird. Mm-hmm. It's still, an unidentified flying object. It doesn't have to mean it's aliens or anything. But, yeah, everything gets so muffled. And that's why I always tell people the biggest problems with the UFO community and the Bigfoot, cryptid community is that if you don't follow what the big names say, you're an outcast.
Yeah,
you're chewed up. You're spit out. We don't want other options. We don't want people thinking. We don't want open-minded. And then I always my biggest pet peeve in it is, oh, here's my picture, dude. I just walked outside and this was in my woods. And what is this? Yeah. Oh, you photoshopped that. Yeah, right. I'm a guy who works at McDonald's and I paid thousands of dollars for my Photoshop to put on my phone. Okay, and it's like, well, oh my God, it's back. Here's a picture that I got and it's crystal clear. Well, that ain't right because that's too clear. So, okay, that one's too clear, so it's fake. The other one's too blurry, so it's fake. It's because you don't see it. You're not getting the picture, so you can put it in your expert book and make money from it. You're not going to let it be out there. And that makes me almost insane when I see that with stuff.
But see, I think you have to look at people. I mean, and like I told you, there's those of us that really want to know what this stuff is. Mm-hmm. But the other people, I look at them, a lot of times, and I'll say, yeah, really, okay, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to argue with them.
Right.
Because it ain't going to do you any good. Right. But, again, pictures, I think the only real picture they ever had was when they had Patty back in the 60s. I mean, Gremlin and what's his name? Yeah. And again, everybody says that was fictitious. So, again, you don't know. I mean, but I know they took every...
I've seen pictures that you could tell, and I've seen pictures that you're like, okay, this was some just random teenager that took a picture with his phone. Everybody has a phone nowadays. You can get pictures of stuff, but they're so quick. I didn't take that. You know, they're just sitting there, shoot, no, that's too good. I didn't take that, and I can't use that to make money from. So they're going to they destroy these people, you know.
Right.
And it's just like, no, put it out there. You don't listen to those people. Let them see what you got, you know. And I always say, not everybody has the money to go get Photoshop, put it on here, and sit down for hours making all these little details. I couldn't do that. I'm not Photoshop. I ain't got the time to sit down and do that.
But if it isn't the top dogs that have the picture don't exist.
Exactly. That
you see what I'm saying?
But
you know, that's what's really cool.
But at the same time, them guys will say in the same sentence, but we all got to work together to find out what this is. Well, people are giving you evidence, and you're killing them. You're chewing them up, spitting them out, and you're making them feel like they're crazy, like they're nuts. You know, this is why people don't want to come forward a lot of times. I mean, it's better now because of all the shows. I mean, thankfully, the shows that have been kind of, but those shows have helped somewhat because people are less likely to not, or more likely to talk.
I was with Brian. We gave a presentation. Me and Brian Cease gave a presentation at down at Beaver. Beaver Creek Park down in Ohio.
Yeah.
And the guy asked me, I was standing with a BFRO man, like BFRO. I mean, they do their thing, right? Mm-hmm. But there's so many UFO reports, and if there's a Bigfoot report with the UFO report, they throw it away. They don't want to talk to them. But you know, and the guy asked me down there, and the BFRO guy was standing there, and he says, "Well, do you watch Finding Bigfoot?" I said, "No, I watched 2 times." He said, "Well, why'd you watch us? Because if they'd have found him, the show wouldn't be there no more. So what's the sense in watching it?"
There would be no season 2.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's the same with UFOs. If we really find a UFO, just think of all this shit that ain't going to be there. MUFON ain't going to be there, you know? And again, does MUFON know of anything? I mean, I'm a state director. I shouldn't be saying this, but I think they know things they ain't saying too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well,
so,
you got to have, you know, you got to have your, I guess, ace in the hole kind of thing. You know, in case something comes up, then you can pull it out and get your part into the, you know, let's say it lands in the White House lawn. Well, everybody's going to want to say, well, we told you. Well, someone or the bigger groups have got to have some kind of like ace in the hole. You know, it's kind of like, there it is. See, we were involved. Here's the evidence we had, but we didn't want to show people and freak them out. You know, and get their part into it. So, you know, that's totally understandable, but yeah.
Well, but see, back in 52, they were on the White House lawn, and our planes chased them and couldn't catch them.
Right.
I mean, that's fact. They
White House. Yeah, there's pictures and all kinds of crazy stuff of that from back then.
But now, I think 99 out of 100 things we see in the sky is actually ours.
Yeah. Black projects and stuff.
And I mean, people don't, oh my God, you know, like we had a case down in West Virginia about 5 years ago. And a couple guys, I don't know if you probably read about it, a couple guys came out of a coal mine. They was down in a coal mine working, they came out and had a cigarette break. Well, they wasn't supposed to be outside having a cigarette break. And they seen a UFO. They seen actually 3 triangular craft, followed by a red craft. And they said the triangular craft were as big as 2 football fields, each one. And they was going 25, 30 miles an hour. How in the hell would something like that stay up in the air?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But anyway, what happened, one of the guys with MUFON, you know, trying to make some money because he got a blog. You know, and he get 2 cents or 3 cents every hit. You know, he said, "Oh, these guys are working for such and such a coal mine." It's bullshit. They refuse to talk to me then. But I mean, you look at it, and I mean, how can this happen? I mean, I don't know. Like, I was abducted when I was like 4 years old. I'm going to do it someday. I'm only 70 now. I'll wait till about 80.
Someday.
And but I got a cat. Okay, I'll bring my cat into this. I think my cat has something to do with all of this because, you know, it's like I hear noise at night now, and the cat just, you know, he stares. I mean, is there something in my house? I have a lot of times, like one time I found a thing on my toe, my big toe, a drawing on it. And my daughter got the picture, and there's no way I could have done it. And it happened at night. So, again, you know, am I being abducted and I don't even know it anymore? I don't know. But if it is, I mean, they ain't probing me or nothing, so I don't really give a shit. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I joke about the probing a lot with I tell people, I'm like, well, sometimes you gotta do things for the better good.
Yeah,
But,
I tell that to a lot of cops. You know, when they my license plate is UFO hunter on my car, and a lot of the police I know them, and they this and that and this and that. And I say they'll say, well, it's a bunch of bullshit. Well, I can name you about 15 cops that got probed, so don't tell me it's bullshit.
Right. Yeah. Well, you hear it on some other shows that are fairly credible.
Yeah.
They'll have cops on or tell stories from cops. Of course, most of them don't want their name out there because people will.
Yeah.
But you hear it. I mean, I know people that are extremely, professional people. Physicians, doing what I do. Other nurses that, they'll tell me and stuff because they know how weird I am, but. Knowing I won't tell nobody if they don't want anybody to hear. But I've been told some pretty crazy things by people that hold people's lives in their hand. So I can only imagine the stuff that you guys have heard. Getting out there and doing it.
I hear stories I'd hide. I'd hide. I wouldn't even go out in the woods anymore. But again, what is it? Well, it's something that we're investigating. We'll probably never know. Like I say, when I die, I'm going up, I hope. They're going to stop me half, put me in this room up there. And here comes Bigfoot, here comes Dogman. We'll get on Dogman here for a second. They all come into the room, and then one of them looks at me, one of these cryptids looks at me and says, Fred, you came this damn close. I mean, But take Dogman. Here's another thing. Now, Dogman was around since beginning of time, same as Bigfoot. All of a sudden, somebody figured out we could make money off of Dogman. Oh, my God, it's the biggest thing that ever happened now. Well, Dogman. He's been here for the whole time.
Right, and I just remember just a few years ago when you heard a Dogman story, I was interested because I thought, well, werewolf lore has been around forever. But people at that time, is like, even with Wes and Sasquatch Chronicles, who I listen to, I love him, I love his show and stuff and listen to the people. Even when he brought him on, people were email him and message him like, dude, what are you doing? These people, come on, kind of like, these people are crazy. Now, as you said, suddenly it become a little more popular, and then people started writing books, and people got money, and now everybody's fine with it.
Well, they had a thing on in one of the books. What the hell's his name? Wrote it. He's a cryptozoologist. 1930. They had a dog man in Charleston, West Virginia. That's how they described him, as a dog man. But like I say, all of a sudden, somebody says, oh my God, we can make some money with this. So, again, here we go. The rapists are out there raping the community again, what they can get.
Yep.
But let's get to Todd real quick here.
Yeah, let's get to that one, because I know in our community there's a lot, but we know of it. But where I'm at, a lot of people don't know a lot of these, stories that are, I guess, famous to us, but are not at the same time. So
okay, Todd Seas. All right, this happened, I think, in 92 or something around. I don't know the exact year, but anyhow, again, Peter Davenport got the report. National UFO Center.
Yeah, I love
and there was never an investigation on it. I mean, he talked to a couple of people, and they said that, Todd Cease was abducted and left by aliens and killed and this and that. Never an investigation. So Butch Wachowski, Butch was a chief investigator for MUFON in Pennsylvania, and he gave a presentation one time about Todd Cease. I mean, that he was actually abducted by aliens, and he was probed in this and that. And he was a homicide detective with the Pennsylvania State Police for 20-some years. The guy was never with the state police. And, the whole 9 yards. I mean, that the FBI was there. They sent the body up to Carlisle. None of that's true. Okay? But, again, I can't prove it's not true, and they can't prove it is true. So you got something there. But they got this thing where they got the Todd Cease going on and on and on. If I was Todd Cease's family, okay, and somebody told me that they probed my dad and they cut his eyeballs out and shit, somebody's ass get beat. Okay.
Yeah, there does seem to be a lot of disrespect in that one. And then for the people who don't know, when they found supposedly found Todd's body. Again, it's all speculation, like we say. He had his eyeballs removed surgically. There were like suction holes. They said like circle. It was holes, right, in his chest and abdomen.
They took everything.
It looked like everything was vacuumed out, but pristine. Vacuumed out completely clean, and his body was basically just a shell. Yeah,
no blood in it or nothing.
Yeah, there was no blood. And one story says he was hanging in the tree. Another story says it was sitting on a tree, leaned up against it. And then,
he was laying on the ground when they found him.
I was going to say, then there was it was laying on the ground just flat, and they kind of happened upon it, kind of thing. So,
well, and see, I talked to some people up there. I talked to the district attorney up there. I talked to the police up there. Police won't say nothing. And, like I told the cop, I said, the only thing you're doing is eating this bullshit. I mean, what really happened? I mean, and from my understanding, what happened, Todd died from an overdose of cocaine. Now, it's actually, he died, they say he died, it wasn't, he died from cocaine, okay? He did it himself, okay? But if somebody dies, that's a crime. If he had cocaine in his body, he got it from somebody, okay? Right. They can keep that case open till hell freezes over. And that's why the case is still open, because they're not closing it out. And
I mean, that would make sense. Yeah, I hate, you hate it because, again, this is a guy who had children and a wife and stuff. And, none of us mean any disrespect for him. But, yeah, the way they're just playing on it, that's where I have the problem, too. It's, let's just keep putting salt in that wound on this family. When, they may want to know exactly what happened, but at the same time, they have to move on with their lives without having people hound them all the time and making up different speculations on what happened. And
they turned around here about 45 years ago, and they said, oh no, it was a military hit. That they went to the house, and Todd's wife don't live there no more. I guess the house is empty. And they found a bunch of copperheads and rattlesnakes in there. They had, snakes are intelligent. They're the intelligent signatures and that, And, it was a hit. Then they turned around and said, no, it wasn't a hit again. I mean, let the guy rest in peace. I mean, why in the hell you keep bringing him up all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting situation with how it all kind of came about so quickly to everything and what happened. But, did it happen one way or the other? We can't 100%
I don't know,
prove
but
it.
I don't believe.
It does seem weird that nothing would have ever been said, even accidentally, on the news about his body being like that and stuff. So.
What's interesting about it is they say that the FBI came, and within 2 hours they actually interviewed the farmers that they seen him going up in the sky. Really? The FBI couldn't find a bleeding elephant 6 foot of snow too. I mean, how in the hell did they find these people within 2 hours? It's all bullshit.
Yeah, I never heard that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah. They found, and then his body went up to Carlisle. So I talked to the undertaker, and he said, no, his body, after they'd done the autopsy, the body was there. And then they say that they talked to the nurse, one of the nurses, where they did the autopsy. That's bullshit. That's HIPAA.
Well, not only
she'd be sued.
I'm an RN. Been one for 20 years. We don't really work with autopsies.
Yeah. They said that this lady told them what happened. See, I can't believe half of it. And no, both of them are liars. That's another thing too. I mean, it sounds good when you say, well, we're investigating this. Oh my God, Henry, they're investigating this. The UFOs got this man. Ain't they scared? I mean, come on, really?
Yeah. It's been a case that I almost cringe when I hear it come up, just because I feel so bad for the family. Honestly, even if let's just say, to get here, that is how it happened. He was sucked up into the sky. He was in an alien craft. They killed him. They dropped his body off, basically a shell. As his kid, son or daughter, I don't want to hear that all.
I don't either. I don't really. And I think everybody should come clean about what happened with it. I mean, that's my thing. I mean, let the man rest in peace. I mean, he's dead. I mean, why talk about him now that he's dead? I mean, let him go.
Right.
But they got they say, like, okay, when they went up, they found his four-wheeler up there, and the dogs didn't sniff anything. That's because he never was up there. He was killed before. The only thing they found on his body, this is from the coroner's report, was a burn mark by his ear, which more than likely was a bullet. Huh?
I remember hearing about the burn mark.
Yeah, the burn mark is the only thing they actually found. And, I mean, possibly that was where he got, I believe he got shot myself, because that's a big drug place up there. That's near Penn State up there.
Well,
they have that one attorney that ended up meeting up that way, and they never found him yet. I mean, so there's a lot of drugs go around there.
Right.
So,
well, man, we're going to have to do this again for one thing. But one thing I wanted to ask you.
Let me know, man.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you here towards the end was, what's the weirdest report that you've gotten out of this region? Like one that when you've heard it, you were just like, okay, I believe this person, but if I tell someone I believe this person, I might be crazy. So, kind of thing.
Well,
yeah.
I would have to say a lot of the abduction cases. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of them. I mean, yeah, we just got one now down in West Virginia where it's on my page, my UFO West Virginia page, and Les down in West Virginia got it on his page too down there, the cryptid page down there. Uh-huh. There was a Bigfoot involved in it. There was something else involved. There was all kind of stuff involved in this. Men in Black and the whole 9 yards. This one case. And I talked to the guy, and he was allegedly abducted too. And then we got abduction people with MUFON too. Rick was doing the abduction part of it, and Rick told me, he says, well, I don't know. He said, but, the Bigfoot stuff, he said, you should talk to him because it seems like it's pretty, But like I say, anything you say about a UFO case, people think you're crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get looks a lot, but of course, I'm 40, but you reach a point in your life that you're like, I really don't care if you like it. Like, this is what I see. This is what I believe, and this is where I'm at. I've had. It was like I told you. I honestly was never supposed to be here. When I was born, I was born with, my head was extremely long. It was rounded off and almost cone shaped. I was supposed to be dead, and they said my mom probably was supposed to have died too. But yet, I'm here. They had to take a vice and push my head to shape it, like slowly, kind of, not like that's what I call it, and do a slow reshaping of my skull because it came out so long because the way they let me come out and stuff.
Well, you may actually be an alien.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told that too.
With a long-headed head. I mean,
my kids tell me all the time they're happy their dad's an alien. So I'm not 100% sure where they got that from either, which creeps me out a little bit because they have talked about things and said things too about what they saw and they see things in shadows and stuff. So, but that'd be for another time.
Right.
Yeah, but Fred,
hey, let me know anytime, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I figure, especially between like you, Jamie, and Brian, I've got people I've got to keep talking to because I love the interaction with you guys. So real quick, where can people find your info, like the names of your Facebook pages, and then I'll get them in there too once we.
Okay, I got. Okay, you can go with me. My Facebook page is Fred Saluga. Then you got Fayette County, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research Project. Or you can go West Virginia Center for Unexplained Events, and that's got all my stuff on it. Or,
Fayette County,
they can get. My email address is paranormal1949 at AOL.com.
Okay, and like he said, everybody, he's the state. What's that position called again? Director of MUFON. So,
I'm the State Director of MUFON in West Virginia, Assistant State Director in Pennsylvania.
Right. So, you got 2 states worth of our area. Man, I had a great time. We got to get back together and do this again. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Country Road Legends podcast as much as I did. Getting to talk to and to know Fred Saluga was quite a pleasure. Fred can be reached at the West Virginia Center for Unexplained Events Facebook group, the Fayette County, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research Project Facebook group, as well as the Pennsylvania Cryptids and Strange Encounters Facebook group. You may also contact him through his personal page, Fred Saluga, Saluga, with a very unique profile pic, so you will see it when you find it. And if you've had any encounters of any type or have any stories you would like to tell from your local region or past, be they paranormal, UFO, alien, cryptid, or even like true crime or urban legends, please feel free to contact me through my personal page, Josh Riggs, as well as the Country Road Legends Podcast Facebook page, or email me at countryroadlegendspodcast@gmail.com. Of course, with any of these, if you want to remain anonymous, that will be held with the highest of respect. I hope you've all enjoyed yourself. I again want to apologize for the time between, but I want to thank you all so much for all the support during this time. If you could, please continue to share the podcast with all of your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, strangers on the street. I really would also appreciate if you go to Podbean, become a subscriber on there, as well as the Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Breaker, all of these places. If you could, leave a 5-star, a like, and a review, letting me know that you do like it and what kind of things you really want to hear. I thank you all so much for everything, and I hope you all have had a wonderful summer and have an amazing night.
Yeah.